Sean Wadsworth, Chair of the Albany Planning Board, calling the monthly meeting to order at 6:34. I'm also the secretary, so apologize for my going back and forth on typing, and let's just go around and do introductions.
Morris West, Vice Chair.
Brian Bailey, Representative.
Curtis Coleman.
Thank you. And absent is James Druin and Amalia Torres, are excused. If any of you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, just for the...
Yeah, I'm Anthony Ruddy. I'm Vice President of Habitat for Humanity and the Building Coordinator.
Thank you.
Sam Johnson, I'm on the board of that.
Thank you, Sam.
John Tedeschi, also on the board of Habitat.
Thank you. All right. And
Josh McAllister, HEB.
thank you. All right. Well, we'll go right to Habitat and HEB. Thank you.
I have brought a board in case there was other people, but you guys have everything in front of you, so I'm not going to pull it around if that's all right with you guys. So I guess at this point, Davis Bartlett covered for me the first time I had a conflict for the first meeting. So the presentation of the plans was...
I have to interrupt procedurally.
Yeah.
So we adjourned the public hearing.
Right.
So I am now officially reopening the public hearing at 6:36. So public hearing is open.
All right.
Mr. McAllister. you have the
So
floor.
Davis covered for me from my office for the first meeting, presented the project, so that's generally been, that part of it's been complete. We went through the minutes, when I returned to the office, went through the minutes and went through an email from Sean and created a response letter to some of the items that I felt were kind of outstanding still from that conversation and needed some addressing, and then there was some additional information in Sean's email, some button up some of these things. So I'm gonna guess you've all read the letter and the responses, and or I could read it, but I guess at this point, it's the pleasure of the board how you'd like me to proceed.
I'll check in with the board. I have read it 2 or 3 times. Should we do an open read through just to make sure we're all on the same page, or do you feel comfortable?
Briefly.
I mean, I can summarize.
Thanks.
Since our last meeting, since our last meeting, we've obtained 2 permits. The driveway permit was in hand at the time. I just hadn't told Davis that it was in hand. And we received our state subdivision permit. So both of those permits are in hand. There was some question about traffic impact analysis and all of that. DOT issued the permits without any traffic impact analysis, so that none of that was necessary. There was some conversation about third-party inspections, bonding, and all of those things. I provided a couple different pieces of information in the package. We do a lot of that work for other communities. And so I provided some information as to how we've typically done it on our end as both the representative for the town doing the inspections, but also on the flip side, in Conway, we do a lot of design that there are other people who are doing the observations. Generally, my thought is that we'd like to request the board create a condition of the approval that we will enter into a third-party inspection agreement that third-party engineer will determine the cost of. And we've written a letter saying that, or we've had a letter submitted saying that we would do that. And then further to that, we're comfortable with bonding the project because that's typical, but to keep the third-party inspection fee out of the bond so that the town has access to those funds to pay your third-party inspector. So what we would do is at the time of final approval, we would post a bond. That would get the project ready to go for construction. And then we'd also post an escrow, some money to the town so you'd be able to pull funds to pay your third-party inspector because their relationship will be with the town. So we're asking that both the posting of the bond and the agreement, the escrow agreement and funding happen prior to construction but after approval. That was our sort of summary request in that letter. In addition to that, we also included a bonding estimate in accordance with the town's rate. I think it was 110% of anticipated construction costs, so we wrote that down, came up with an estimate based on that. We cleaned up some of the documents. There were some discrepancies from when we went from the PUD to the, I think the checklist still had 13 units, but the application showed the right number of units. We cleaned all those up, and then formally submitted a waiver for the landscaped island in the middle of the cul-de-sac. because we don't want to do that. I'm not sure that anybody does.
The green
So,
space.
The
yeah.
green space, and so we submitted a formal waiver to request the board consider that as something that we would move forward with. I think that summarizes just about everything that we discussed, what we thought was outstanding. We'll just look at it quickly. Bonding. We did center line. We did stake the center line of the road. That was one of your requirements. We went out last week and staked it. So if you want to trudge through that undergrowth
Yeah.
on that front, it's there. And
Yeah.
our, there was enough snow on it that our Davis, who was here last time, said he came out of there quite wet because the undergrowth was dense enough to keep all the snow on top, and as he went through, it just all fell on him. So
Yes.
it's probably not entirely fun to go ahead and not do that. But I think that's pretty much all of the items that were outstanding. We did include some minor revisions to the plans in our letter that we had to make as part of the subdivision approval, just some little tweaks that they required. So we want to make sure that you were aware of what changes were included as well.
Thank you for the summary. That matches everything from my understanding of reading through it. If there was anything. I'm not sure. All right. Anything from the board on the summary?
As far as the third-party inspection, I mean, you're the tenant, you're our town engineer also. So like, and this is a group that does good things for the community. So my opinion on it is, I don't think we need to get too carried away like other towns might with an 8-hour every day, blah, blah, blah. That's just a big old waste of money in my mind for Habitat for Humanity. You know, you did the plans, you know our town specs, you wrote them, so just they meet them, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
So
the
I mean,
plans
I know
do-
they meet them, but I want you.
And I would recommend, the plans are outside of the waiver request for the landscape.
Yeah, no, that's craziness.
But my recommendation for your community would be more like what other communities do, not Conway, but other communities like
We don't
yours.
model ourselves so Conway.
You're not.
So.
It's milestone inspections. So we would go up there after the trees are cut and after the subgrade is cut, and then when the drainage goes in and erosion controls, like those, we'd outline like 6 or 7 inspections that we would go out and see after it was done. So like they'd be like, yep, this is generally what it is. The contractor would call us, we go out, check on it, we write a report, and maybe you're out there for an hour 8 times versus other communities that require every day, all day, which is
So like to me, like the gravel depths, right?
Yep.
Pavement.
after pavement, yep,
And-
landscaping, like one green space.
That's not as like
Stabilization.
the road stable. I mean, it's sand there. It's like once you strip it, it's going to be gray. But
Yeah.
but those are the things
Yes.
that could pose risks to the town of Albany
Yes, we
if
would
they
make
weren't
sure-
done
we would
properly.
confirm that the things that are outlined in your road specs are installed in accordance with the plans, which are subsequently in accordance with the road specs.
We're not going to count blades of grass. So. Some towns do.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, I appreciate
Yeah, I mean,
that.
that's just,
Yes.
the biggest thing for us is like,
Yep.
we just want the road to be stable and when they pave it to be, you know, a couple inches of base,
Yep.
Yep.
inch of top,
Yep.
you know, the right
Yes.
drainage.
That's typically the longer day, like usually when there's pavement, we're out there when they're paving.
Yeah.
Like for,
Yeah.
it's a short road, so it's
Yeah.
not that long.
No.
It'd be like maybe a couple hours of paving.
Compaction dust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get compaction
Yeah.
done. But like usually after gravel's installed, we get compaction done. We don't need to be there. We could have an SWCO or somebody come and take that and just confirm that the material was put in. We do, typically when we do this, we have the contractor provide submittals. Be like, yes, this is 304, 3 gravel, or whatever. We ask for those things as part of that agreement.
Yep.
So that's typically how those third-party inspections would go with milestone inspection, where we get confirmation the material is good, and then we'd see the material installed, and then we'd write a report as such.
Now, we've run into issues, one issue in the past where there was a subdivision bill where the contractor was, I don't know, limited of ability, and it was a pain for the town, you know, so that would be, I just hope that you would vet them well,
Yeah.
so that you have there's a a lot of really good contractors in this area. So, you know, just make sure you find someone that can build this road right, so we
And
don't
I
have
think
that.
We've had that discussion too. And
Yeah.
they're on the same page there.
'Cause, you know,
they're gonna own this for a long time too.
Because I'm also the road agent, as you know, small town. So, you know, so I'm gonna I will roll in and I know if they're building it right or not. I mean, it's pretty basic. So, that's just an important thing. And I would think that Habitat would want that anyway, so.
Thank you.
I had a question on schedule. Last time, at the last meeting, you said you were only working on Thursdays. Is that the road also?
No, that's the
Okay.
homes.
I didn't think so. I just wanted to make
That's the
sure.
building, actually.
Yeah,
The
okay.
building.
I figured as much, but it would be hard to build
My
a road just
anticipation
Thursdays.
in our discussions
Yeah.
is that the road construction would start
Yeah.
in spring
Yeah.
and get that going so they actually have lots that they can start working on and building homes for.
Just for clarity, there are some subcontractors that work when they can work, roofers, for example. Habitat doesn't like us old guys on roofs, so contract that out.
So it may not
Okay.
necessarily be Thursdays. Yeah.
In the home building, each home, it might take years for that
Yeah.
phase of the project to
Yeah.
get all the homes
Sure.
constructed. That's not going to be an immediate fully immediate 2025 situation.
The homes are about one a year, is
Yes,
that?
correct. We don't anticipate more than that.
Okay, yeah,
So, about 1,200 square feet,
Yep.
everything.
yeah.
3 bedrooms normally.
Would the septic be part of the bonding, or those are for the individual lots?
That would be for the individual lots. So each lot is going to be required to go through, get a septic design prior to occupancy of the home.
Yeah.
So that would be part of the building permit issue here
Yeah,
in the community.
yep, okay.
And that's a state. Yeah. Albany doesn't even deal with that. That's a state issue, so.
I don't think I have further questions.
I'm good.
Just to clarify, we're talking about third-party inspectors. Are you guys, so being in the industry, do you need to be excluded from the inspection process?
That is up to you or the community as to what they want. I do third-party inspections in other communities on projects that I've designed.
So as far as the town goes, in our experience working with Josh, for the town, I don't think we need to go any further than right there, if they would like to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was a part of getting Josh as the engineer for the town. So, I mean, and I think that I just think it'd be great to have HEB
Yeah.
just deal with it. They're, professionals. It's not, I don't think it'd be any issue at all. So I would recommend it, really.
And this has been done in previous towns, previous projects?
Yes, we did it this past year in Conway.
Huh. Do you have to have like a form saying that you're gonna
We did.
do
But
each
the
side
so our
equally kind of
relationship,
thing?
immediately the change becomes, our relationship becomes contractual with the town. So we're out there looking out for the town's best interest. And other communities have said that that is also our client's best interest. So it's how they've justified that. So we're out there making sure that we're meeting the expectations that are on the plan. The client's paid an engineer to design the plans in accordance with, they probably want to build that way too. So that's the way that's been justified, or at least looked at in the past.
So no extra paperwork, no conflict of interest, anything?
No.
Just approval and go?
Yeah.
Okay.
In theory, my relationship with Habitat would end, and then I would start a relationship with the town.
Oh, I see. Because
And
your work here is done for Habitat,
But once we
basically.
get an approval, we
Yes.
move on, and I might be able to do like other things, helping them with septic systems and stuff like that. But when it comes to the construction of the road, I would have a contract with the town of Albany.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, because basically, obviously, when the community, this little the subdivision is built out,
Yeah.
they're going to come to the town and want us to plow it, and we're obviously, if they built it to town standards, we're going to more than 99% chance we're going to take the town and take the road and plow it, so, and maintain it, so it's in everybody's best interest to do this.
Yes.
I mean, to do it right, so it, you know, so, whatever, it's
Yeah.
pretty standard.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing up the question. Any other concerns, questions?
Just no green space in the middle of a cul-de-sac.
I don't want to, let's get that waiver approved and then we don't have to.
We're just gonna kill it anyway every winter,
Maybe we
so.
should.
Salt.
I was just going to say,
And try to get that removed.
yeah. Well, it's not ordinance, it's just
So you
road
guys can make a
standards.
change, you can-
We could change that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few things
Move
we
forward
gotta
with
do.
that. Let's get that done.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else from you or Habitat?
No, just, I think we've presented everything we have. And just, look for the approval of the waiver and the approval of the, hopefully approval of the subdivision.
Yes. Anything further from the board members? Okay. I think we are ready. Well, let's see. No. We need to now close public hearing and then vote. Anything further? Public hearing. Going once, going twice. All right. I will close the public hearing at 6:50. And would anyone like to make a motion?
Motion to accept
That's what we're here for.
the plans and
Yeah.
application as presented.
As presented, yeah, okay.
I'll second it.
So we'll put motion to accept the application as presented, including the,
Obviously, we gotta add in all the little things,
the waiver.
the waivers and whatnot. Part of
But
it.
this is the whole, yeah, I mean, we have, that's in here,
The waiver was included in the resubmission of the application.
in the resubmission, so.
You know, so you have the driveway permit, you have the waiver, I mean, you have everything else, yeah. I mean, you can put it in there, you can not, whatever you want.
Yes.
It might be worthwhile, just for your sake, to include a condition that Habitat, as part of it, prior to construction, it will post the bond for the cost of the construction and an escrow for the third-party inspection. And that,
Yes.
I think that would cover those two things that we requested to be prior to the construction.
Okay. Thank you.
Make sure that the bond doesn't, I mean, once the road's built, we don't need to hang on to the bonds to make these guys have to pay for it year after year, so let's,
They're likely,
Like-
ask that the contractor, they're not bondable.
yeah,
So when a contractor's selected, that's probably who's gonna post that initial bond to the town.
right.
So, I think we did that on Tech Village.
Yeah, that's a typical payment and performance bond. That's,
Yeah, we just don't want to pay an insurance company year after year for not a whole lot. They got big enough buildings. They don't need Habitat's money.
Okay. All right, so we have the motion from Byron Bailey to accept the Habitat for Humanity subdivision major subdivision application, or to approve the major subdivision, including a waiver as stated in item 4 for the cul-de-sac, for the green space in the cul-de-sac, for bonding as stated in number 5 to happen after approval and before construction, and for third-party inspection as written in number 3 to be held in escrow and to be funded and after approval and before construction. Yes. Okay. Curtis Coleman seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving as presented? Raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Drive safe.
Thank you.
So we're approved.
You're
It's approved.
Okay.
You have no idea how pleased we are about this.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm glad.
I was in front of this group, probably no one here, back in 2011, when we tried to purchase that property.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't offer enough money, and the Colvin family owned it at the time. And so here we go again, and this time we're gonna do it right.
Yeah. Wonderful.
We thank you very much. and we'll-
Yeah.
Well, that was my grandfather's field. We used to grow potatoes in the,
that right?
he used to grow potatoes in the 20s and 30s, and it's a good spot. So we're happy you guys are there. So that white farmhouse is where my grandfather, he bought it in the 20s. So.
Are they still there across the street?
No. He was born in 1900, so they're obviously not
Everybody
here.
refers to it as the Colvin House. Right?
Yeah,
It's right
so-
there.
No, it's not us, but it's great. So I'm happy you guys are there.
Yeah. so we-
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with building permits and all that.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Our plan is to obviously get into there and start the site work when
Yep.
in the spring, and then maybe get one foundation in.
Yep.
And then we won't be there building until 2026.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if anyone ever wants to come see a Habitat house, either finished or being built, we'll be building in Madison.
Oh, good.
This coming summer.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you for
Thank
working
you.
with us.
Thank you.
It's been a process. I'm glad we got to
Yeah,
hear.
thank you.
Yeah, cool, thanks.
Let's just do minutes and then we'll be out of here, you think?
Yeah.
We have October 14th minutes and November 11th minutes.
I make a motion to accept them as is,
Or
or, go ahead.
were you gonna say?
Well, I just so November. I was
Yeah,
here
I was trying to
November.
think if I was
Yeah,
involved.
I was here November. I don't think I was here.
Happy holidays, you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
don't think I was here on the prior one. We didn't do minutes from the prior.
I can pull them up here.
I don't think I was there, so I don't want to vote on something I was there or wasn't
right.
there. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you missed that October one.
Yes, October 14th. Curtis, you were not here. Brian, you were.
Yep.
And
so I guess we'd have to separate them if we want to.
yeah. And last month we were all here. So okay. Morris, you want to make a motion for just the 14th? Yeah. Sure. Would you mind stating it, just for the...
Sure, make a motion to accept the minutes from October 14th
To approve? Yep.
to approve
Second?
as
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just abstain.
Curtis abstained. And then it is November the 11th, so if someone would mind making a motion for
Make a
that.
motion to accept the minutes.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Unanimous. Thank you. Only other order, we will be having a CIP meeting in this room 2 days from now at 6:30. Thank you for planning to attend.
Yeah.
And anyone else is welcome to attend as well. Then our next regularly scheduled planning board is in the new year, January 12th. No, January 13th. Sorry. January 13th at 6:30 p.m. All right. That's all I have for tonight.
Also, make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.